There's a new moon in Cancer on Tuesday, June 28th at 10:52 p.m. Eastern. It coincides with Neptune stationing retrograde and it squares Jupiter, encouraging us to dream big, but to stay grounded. Cancer values its comfortable, secure, protective shell. So we are going on adventures, we are starting new things, but we need to make sure that we also have a dose of comfort in it. So let's break it down for all 12 signs and take a closer look. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, and predictive readings. If you'd like to work with me, there's a link down below. And if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment or a like. Tell me how this resonates with you. I really appreciate all of the interaction I have with you guys. So this new moon is happening at 7 degrees Cancer at 10:52 p.m. on June 28th. Cancer is a cardinal sign. As much as people like to portray Cancers as like sensitive and, you know, cry a lot, whatever, Cancer is the sign that starts things. It's the first sign of summer. And so it has that energy of like introducing new things. Cancer just needs to feel secure while doing it. So that's a big part of this new moon. What makes you feel secure? What makes you feel appreciated? Do you have any skills? Do you have any talents? Is it your communication style? Is it your fashion style? Is it all of the above, right? Like, how can you take things that you feel passionate about and take them to the next level? So very much finding things that make you feel comfortable, finding things that make you feel secure, and then just taking it further. Especially with the square to Jupiter and Aries. Aries is the impatient sign, the rash sign. So it's a square, so it feels a little tense, right? Like you might be careful like agreeing to things too quickly and then just feeling like it doesn't quite make you feel comfortable. I would recommend proceeding with care and being careful. But of course, Jupiter squaring this new moon is really asking you to act. It's like, this is the time is now, and you may possibly benefit from this push to action. But like I said, just make sure you're bringing your blanket with you and you're not just like going out there in the wilderness somewhere where you're not gonna feel supported. And Jupiter in Aries may just make you feel like you know everything, and it's always a danger with any square to Jupiter. It's like, you know, Jupiter is a positive planet. Even in a square, Jupiter is going to try to support you. But here there might be too much of Jupiter, like a sense of being cocky, a sense of being like, I got this, I know this, I'm the one with all the knowledge. And it's likely that you're not. It's likely that you don't got this. So be careful, proceed with moderation, avoid taking on too much, and avoid committing to things too quickly. Take it at your own pace. Cancer doesn't move forward directly. Cancer moves sideways. If you ever seen Cancer on the beach, they just take these like slow steps going sideways to their goal. And Aries is very much like ramming its head into the wall. So you're gonna have to try to find a middle ground there. Neptune also stations retrograde the same day. I did a separate video, definitely check it out. But Neptune going retrograde, it's a long transit. It's gonna last until December 3rd, but Neptune being retrograde in the same time is also kind of a be careful sign to me, where you are like kind of zooming in on what's real, what's not, what's worth pursuing, what's not worth pursuing. And there's a need to be careful. There's a need to separate visions from reality and proceed carefully. So this is it. There's not a whole ton to talk about as far as this new moon. We may feel more emotional, I think. I mean, I'm going to break it for all 12 signs, but just like in general, we may feel more emotional. We may feel more teary-eyed, more sensitive, more cold to spend time with people we love. And that might be a good antidote for the Jupiter and Aries, let's do it, let's go, just do it energy, is to maybe lean into your friendships and spend time with people that you really care about and people who can ground you and help you find answers. So for Aries rising, Cancer is the 4th house. There's new beginnings in the sector of your home and family. And there's also a square to Jupiter in the 1st, right? So you may be starting something new, or you may feel like a pull to just be this source of support for other people, this like rock, this, and you might already be, as an Aries rising, you might already be like, you know, this stick staff that people lean on. And yeah, like, of course you want to be careful like with overloading yourself, but overall there's new beginnings in the area of your home and family. My Aries rising friend is traveling to see her family, but you may also, there might be new beginnings in the family, like a family member giving birth to a new child, or maybe you are taking care of your home, renovating, kind of bringing more comfort into the home. Cancer wants to feel secure in the home. So you might be, you know, buying new curtains or getting something new for your bathroom, like buying more candles, doing things that make it feel homey and joyful. Finding people who feel like family or spending time. If you're not super close, or if you don't live right next to your family, or you're not close with them, this might also mean spending time with people who are like family, who support you and, you know, are there for you through all the thick and thin. And additionally, because 4th house deals with the past and family karma, you might also be like choosing to let some of that go. Even though new moon brings new beginnings, sometimes new beginnings start from closing a door on something from your past. For Taurus rising, there's a new moon in the 3rd house and feels quite lovely, I think. I think in general, I'm excited for this moon, this new moon. There's a lot of fun things to look forward to. Even just, you know, the Cancer nurturing, taking care of yourself energy, I look forward to. But for Taurus rising, it's happening in the 3rd house and it's squaring Jupiter in the 12th. So I feel like with the Jupiter square in the 12th, you may have to address any self-limiting things, any negative like beliefs that you have of yourself, that you don't know enough, that your insights are not valuable enough, that you shouldn't put yourself in the spotlight somehow, because the new moon in the 3rd house encourages you to say something. It encourages you to find your voice, to find a message that's worth sharing, and maybe start teaching or start a blog, start a project like a YouTube channel. There's a lot of exciting things like investing into technology, investing in social media that can come with this new moon, but of course it squares Jupiter. So either dealing with self-doubt with this Jupiter aspect in the 12th house, or 12th house is the place of self-undoing. So I would just be careful that you're not like saying yes to something too quickly, that you're not accidentally, like you're thinking that you're doing good for yourself, but maybe you are, I don't know, like don't talk about things that you don't know much about. Don't agree to things before you check the ground and check that it's all solid and real and steady. Siblings might figure prominently with this new moon too. Maybe there's new beginnings in the life of your sibling. Maybe your relationship is getting a new start. But mainly it feels like you're looking for things to express. You're looking for a passion project, for something that will use your skills and your voice and your message in a harmonious way. For Gemini rising, Cancer is the 2nd house. So there's a new moon in the 2nd house squaring Jupiter in the 11th. New moon in the 2nd house brings new beginnings to your finances and to your values. So financially, you might be starting a new job. You might be questioning what you want to do, right? With Neptune being retrograde in your house of career. So questioning what you want to do, asking, you know, like asking yourself what is valuable to you, what makes you feel excited, because second house is not just your finances, it's also your sense of security, your personal confidence. So with this new moon happening in your second house, you may be redefining, rerouting your joy to something else. It is squaring Jupiter in the 11th. So I wonder if there's someone in your network, in your friendship circle, that maybe is pushing you to do something that you don't feel happy doing. Or maybe there's like an opportunity that comes from a friend, or social media opportunity that feels like too rushed a little bit. So be careful here and like kind of pay attention to you know, what friends are saying, what feels more real to you, what is, I think it could be significant with the new moon in the second house of values, like to listen to yourself and to ask, what makes me feel valued, what do I want, what makes me feel secure, and then going off of that. And another thing too, with like Cancer and the second house, maybe you're spending money on something that is making you feel comfortable. You may be spending money on your family, maybe you're getting money from family. And I think also making money from the things that you are good at, from the things that you enjoy doing, could be a big part of this new moon as well. For Cancer risings, there's a new moon in your first house, and this is always exciting. It squares Jupiter in the 10th. So I wonder if there's new professional opportunities in your life, new professional beginnings, a chance for you to step up in possibly some kind of nurturing role and, you know, be the guide, be the teacher, be like the support for other people. So definitely a possibility of professional changes. I can also see you reinventing yourself and reinventing your brand. If you have a business, let's say, reinventing your style, reinventing your look, cutting or coloring your hair. I just cut my hair today. And then I was thinking of coloring parts of it pink. But anyways, it's not about me, it's about you, Cancer risings. So changing your look, adding freshness to your look, and also embracing your gifts, taking your sensitive, intuitive, nurturing qualities that you're naturally gifted with and taking them to the next level, taking them to a professional level, right? Like maybe you're starting a tarot business, or you're starting to study to be a nurse. Anything like that is a possibility. Be careful trying to take on too much. As always, like Cancer in the first house, you're going through some self-growth, self-development, personal transformation, and then there's like Jupiter in the 10th being like, but there's also this, and there's also all these work responsibilities and this and that. So you want to be careful. You want to avoid overextending yourself and still pursue things, but not like make yourself feel uncomfortable. For Leo rising, there's a new moon in the 12th house, and it squares Jupiter in the 9th. And this is, 12th house is spirituality, it's isolation, it's any self-defeating things, self-defeating notions, self-defeating thoughts we're telling ourselves. Any past trauma, you are healing. This is very much a healing new moon for you, and I feel like a lovely time for Leo risings to go within, to travel somewhere. It's squaring Jupiter in the 9th house, and to spend this time on your own, to spend some time alone, take a bath, journal, meditate, write, which is the same as journal, but you know, write somewhere else, not in your journal. Connect with yourself and be kind to yourself. Focus on releasing any past notions. It also feels very much aligned with Neptune being retrograde in your 8th house and making you look at your fears, making you look at all the ways in which you avoid rocking the boat and maybe give too much of yourself, like looking at your boundaries, looking at your beliefs, your ideals, and figuring out what doesn't serve you, what habits don't serve you, letting go of bad habits, starting therapy, starting to do yoga regularly. I think this could be very much like, right, the new moon in the 12th square to Jupiter in the 9th, like starting to creating an altar to the moon, for example, or creating an altar to Venus, starting to do yoga, like mentioned before, starting to meditate every day, going to a Buddhist temple, anything that makes you feel supported and secure and more appreciated and spiritual at the same time. There definitely might be new beginnings there. For Virgo risings, there's a new moon in the 11th house and it's squaring Jupiter in the 8th. So you are starting new groups. You're starting new projects that deal with either your friendships, where, I don't know, maybe you start taking a group workout class with your friends, or your professional goals, or social media. 11th house is the place of friendships and your fans too. So you might be expanding your reach to somehow, like, to reach more people through social media possibly, and finding your place, finding the groups that you belong to. It is squaring Jupiter in the 8th house, so I wonder if you may feel a little bit uncertain when it comes to how much money this new project is going to cost you. And I would really advise that you stay careful and not like spend all of your money. You don't wanna like end up having spent all of your money and having like none to take it to the next level. There might be opportunities coming from your friends. There might be new beginnings in the life of your friends, but I feel like to me, this feels more like, what is your place in the world? What is your place on social media or in your immediate environment? And how can you express yourself differently? What's the new beginnings there, right? Like how would you like to be seen? Because obviously you are very supportive and very nurturing, and you have great friends with Cancer in your 11th house. I mean, of course, depends on each individual chart, but you're definitely very supportive of your friends and very like caring towards them. So maybe here it's also about like shifting the perspective a little bit and asking your friends for the same in return, or just shuffling your friends around. But yeah, be careful spending too much money. Be careful overestimating how much resources and time and energy you have to take on these new things. For Libra risings, there's a new moon in the 10th house and it's squaring Jupiter in the 7th. New beginnings professionally. You have that, as the Libra rising with the new moon, with Cancer being in your 10th house, you have a very nurturing side to you. And it's seen in the professional context. People see you as a supportive, you are a Libra rising too, right? Like there's care, there's generosity. So perhaps you're taking your professional gifts and things that you are already gifted with, like that care, generosity, kindness, motherly energy, and you're taking it to the next level. I can see you starting a partnership. It's squaring Jupiter in the house of partnerships, taking significant steps, like maybe you're legalizing your business or you're joining forces with someone else. Be careful. It's a square aspect with Jupiter in the 7th house. Be careful that you're trying too hard to please everyone involved to the point of your own disadvantage, or you're frustrating yourself in the process. But overall, this could be lovely for your professional status. This could bring starting a business, starting a partnership, getting recognized, getting a promotion, or even in the next 6 months, right? Like the new moons take a while to fully ripen. Announcing your plans. Maybe you're planting a seed of a new exciting project, a new venture. And then in the next 6 months, in late December, this will be the time when you actually reveal it to the world. And you will hear the sounds of the sirens and in honor of that. But yeah, I feel quite excited. I would just make sure to be careful for Libra risings to not, or like, you're so focused on the work, it kind of affects your relationship, it affects your love life. maybe you feel like maybe you are excited about the work stuff, but it's taking away from your time to date, and maybe your partner is frustrated. If you're single, you're frustrated that you're just like, work is going so great, but my love life doesn't exist. So it might just be like you might have to try carefully to balance it and try not to lean too heavily in one side over having a balance. You are a Libra rising. You want a balance. As a Libra rising myself, I do. And if you do as well, let me know in the comments below. Anyways, for Scorpio rising, there's a new moon in the 9th house. 9th house deals with religion, philosophy, education, and travel. And it's squaring Jupiter in the 6th house. So I wonder, what are you committing to? Like, it's, you know, it's the new beginning in the realm of like ideals and philosophies. And this could be something that you are just like working on yourself, working on rewiring your brain and looking at things differently. But it's squaring Jupiter in the 6th house. So it's the project, or it's whatever you're focusing on, whatever are these new ideals, it will be long term. It will require you to serve something or someone. So this could be something professional. This could be something related to your health. If you're getting pregnant, for example, and you're needing to readjust your life, and it's obviously a long-term project, right? Like forever. So there might be certain like commitments you're taking. And of course, it doesn't have to be romantic, but it can also be like studying something, like you go back to school, because the new moon in the 9th house can indicate new beginnings in education. So starting a new course, going back to school, taking a trip, because 9th house deals with travel, moving somewhere far. Something like, let me know how this resonates, but it's definitely some kind of change, either change in your views and your ideals and your beliefs, or change that deals with like education, committing to something that is going to last a really long time. Your views of the world are changing somehow. Your views of your place in the world might be changing. I'd love to know how this plays out in your life. For Sag risings, there's a new moon in the 8th house squaring Jupiter in the 5th. I'm gonna say it again. I did just say it for Scorpios, but I feel like Sag risings, there might be a pregnancy in cards for you. But of course, not necessarily. Jupiter in the 5th just pushes you to have more joy, to have more fun, to have more romance. And I would make sure you're not overdoing it. But then there's a new moon in the 8th that is tying you to other people. It brings new commitments, it brings new contracts, it brings new involvements with other people, which could be professional, right? Like maybe you get promoted and you get a new job, and then you'll have to do this like careful dance, careful balancing of how much fun I'm gonna have with this new commitment, with this new responsibility. You may be committing to someone on a very deep level by having a child together, because Jupiter in the 5th house is currently making you very fertile. Whenever Jupiter is in the 5th house, either natally or by transit, people tend to be very good at making babies. So some kind of agreement that ties you to other people. It could be a loan, receiving a loan, signing a contract, starting a new job, starting a new relationship. Be careful with this energy, especially because it squares Jupiter in the 5th house. Make sure that the agreements you're entering are worth it. And because, you know, a lot of times you get something and you have to pay the price. So I would just try to see that you're not agreeing to things too quickly, and you're trying to be thoughtful and careful and negotiate things before. Don't like agree to things before you fully feel comfortable with all parts of it. For Capricorn rising, there might be new beginnings in relationships. There's a new moon in your 7th house, super fertile, new moon, babies. I'm just like the third sign that I'm talking about having babies. But, you know, we are talking about like houses that deal with relationships. But yeah, definitely new beginnings romantically, definitely like a fertile time for Pisces rising too, actually. But you are starting a new cycle in your romantic life. I think it's also, I think I'm thinking babies just because it's like Cancer new moon too. And I'm filming this, you know, a day before Cancer season. So Cancer is the very fertile sign. It's a common knowledge. So I feel like there's even if it's not an actual baby, we are definitely seeing some kind of like birth of something, birth of new things. And it's a new moon, so double birth energy. So Capricorn rising, new beginnings in relationships, new beginnings like partnering up with people romantically, getting married, getting engaged, starting to date if you haven't been for a while, like pushing yourself out there. This might be the time when you have to redefine your relationship and either, you know, let it go, which I don't know, that feels more like full moon, but maybe like redefine the boundaries in your relationship, redefine the commitments, have important conversations. It is squaring Jupiter in the 4th house, so I wonder if there's some kind of involvement with family or family getting in the way of your love life or your living situation needing a lot of your time and possibly just sort of like dampening the joy from all of the relationship new beginnings. Be careful allowing the family to meddle and like watch out for overextending yourself and just getting too caught up in all of the moving, living, like place of living, home drama, if there is any drama. Actually, a Capricorn rising client said that they just recently moved and there was some bickering when it comes to trying to unpack really quickly. So I think this is an example of this energy too. For Aqua rising, there's a new moon in the 6th house and it squares Jupiter in the 3rd house. Feels very much about work and about maybe trying to create a better flow, better, you know, routine. There might be new beginnings at work, changes to your schedule, some kind of new responsibilities. 6th house deals with serving other people, so could be connected to like medical field if you are in medical field, or just taking on a new project that requires a lot of hours, a lot of commitments. Be careful taking on too much. It squares Jupiter in the 3rd house. Jupiter can just make you really want quick results and can make you agree to things that you don't feel comfortable agreeing to. So I would just say avoid overstretching, overextending yourself, and try to find good solutions for your health problems, or try to introduce some kind of, I'm thinking like taking a bath, taking care of yourself, some healthy practice that can help you feel better in your daily life. Finally, for Pisces risings, there's a new moon in the 5th house. And 5th house, new moon in Cancer, very fertile, very great, like, you know, moist soil for birth, for baby making, for creative new things, for romantic new beginnings. If you're not into having children, this doesn't have to be about having a child, but it's a very fertile time for a lot of things. It's squaring Jupiter in the 2nd house, so I wonder if you're like so flying high in this romantic days that you're spending too much money, or you're overextending yourself and kind of like committing to things or starting things that you don't have enough resources for. For example, like if you are, let's say you're looking for a job right now and you don't have a lot of money, but you meet a new partner and you're so enchanted by them, you want to give them all that they want. And so you end up racking up, like getting a huge credit card debt. So you just want to be careful. Watch out for spending too much. Watch out for partying too hard, because 5th house deals with all the joys in life. And sometimes there might be a tendency to like more. Jupiter in the 2nd house. Like, I pay for everything, but then you will be the one who has to pay for everything because Jupiter will continue on its journey. So yeah, enjoy increased creativity. Enjoy this beautiful, fertile, romantic time. Try to find a lot of joy, do things that inspire you, pursue projects that make you feel inspired, but just a small warning, make sure you have enough resources to last you through through the cold winter that we're still far away from. But yeah, enjoy this new moon. Let me know how it resonates. Let me know if things I was talking about make sense, if they resonate with you. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.